Hey there, welcome to Studio 5. We've got a perfect blend of entertainment and inspiration for you today. A musical retelling of the greatest story ever told. A true story of faith, family, and friendship, and a dream fulfilled for a man yearning to explore a million miles away journey. All that is coming up in this edition of Studio 5. So let's begin with the musical retelling of the story of Jesus' birth. The Bible tells us Mary learned of her miraculous pregnancy from an angel of the Lord, Gabriel. And that's the role rapper Lecrae plays in the musical film Journey to Bethlehem. We've got a Studio 5 first look at his performance, and Lecrae is joining us to talk about it.
Mary, God has chosen you to have a son, the King of all kings.
I watched your film this morning and got to see you be Gabriel.
That's
How did
right.
you come up to the project?
Man, it was amazing. It was such a fun and unique opportunity. A good friend of mine is also a friend of Adam Anders, the director, and Adam reached out and said, "Hey, you think Lecrae would be interested in auditioning for this?" You know, it wasn't. I didn't just, just get to inherit that role. I had to earn it.
All right.
Yeah.
This wasn't a dream. An angel came to me.
It's hard to have faith.
It's hard to believe.
Look at the star.
Future holds more.
This is it.
Let's go.
Who, in your mind's eye, is Gabriel? Who is it? We know he's an angel, but who is he?
Sure. Yeah, Gabriel, in my time having to do this and think about it all, Gabriel bears a lot of weight. He bears the weight of directly taking a message from God and telling the mother of the Savior of the world that she's going to give birth. So this is not just a light job.
Yeah.
And so I imagine Gabriel as someone who really understands that he carries a lot of responsibility and a lot of weight.
Mary, you are to be the mother to a Savior and King.
We wanted to make sure that, Gabriel understood, like, this is not just any assignment. You have the opportunity to go from God to tell the mother of Jesus that she'll be bearing him.
There are too many questions, too little time.
A divine king is to be born in your land.
It's a mountain too high to climb.
Why would I help find a new king in my kingdom?
How and where could you say you saw God's hand in this production?
Anytime you're working on something so powerful, I think you're going to face spiritual attacks. And the attacks were abundant. And the camaraderie with all the cast and us doing dinner together and talking and praying and processing together, it was a sweet time to where there was nothing that was going to stop us.
Well, when you put it that way.
Perhaps we should go.
What is the exit? It's going to be king.
Everyone wants my crown.
We have seen the telling of Jesus' birth in many ways. How would you say this is different?
This is probably one of the most creative ways that I think people will have encountered. The cinematography, the film making is just top tier. Of course, the music element, we've just never seen anything like that. To have, world-class musicians and writers crafting this music.
Herod must know of the prophecy. He wants my child. Joseph! I'm not the only one who's chosen for this.
Just really great acting. I mean, you get top tier actor Fiona, Antonio Banderas. It's like, what more can you ask for?
What is it like to work alongside them?
So initially it was intimidating. I'm not gonna lie.
Okay.
It was intimidating because it's like, hey man, I don't want to mess anything up.
Don't have to be good.
Those men are looking for you.
What's your prayer and hope for this project? I know you don't take anything you do lightly when you're using your platform. What's your hope and prayer for this?
I was inspired by Denzel Washington. His philosophy is that he'll be a part of any movie that has a redemptive story. And for me, regardless of what character I play, I want to be a part of a story of redemption. If I have to play, a demon, then let me play it so well so that it makes people believe in the power of redemption by the end of it all. And so for me, it was important to be a part of such a the most redeeming story you can imagine. And that's what I hope people walk away with, is like, wow, what a redemptive story, you know? But then also just the craftsmanship. You know, Christians for so long have copied culture, have condemned culture, have critiqued culture, but it's like, we're creating culture, man. This is really good. It's really creative. The music's good, the acting's good, the cinematography's good. You can't ask for anything better.
You truly believe that this child is the chosen one. What is his name?
Jesus.
Looks really good. Journey to Bethlehem will be available in theaters nationwide November 10th.
Still ahead.
So, how much money y'all trying to get?
$8 million.
That ain't enough money. $100 million.
Who is this clown he's hired as a lawyer?
The true story of a famed attorney now being shared on streaming platforms. The real-life Willie Gary joins us in Studio 5 to take a look at The Burial.
Prayer, an outcry from your heart. So simple, but at a whisper can change the tide of the fiercest ocean. We raise broken prayers to you, our great God, a declaration in the face of adversity that we will not be held back. He who is able to do immeasurably more than we can ask or imagine. Because of love, a love for you. In our darkest night, we will stand strong. Prayer unites us as a family of faith, hope, and love. When ordinary people pray, something extraordinary happens.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to this week's edition of Christian World News. I'm George Thomas.
And I'm Wendy Griffith. Good to have you with us.
It is influencing policy.
ISIS continues to grab the international spotlight.
Sudan is not a lost cause. There is great opportunity here for the gospel
to become the engine driving the Chinese economy. With a population of 7 million, the city is the home to many international businesses, and
Puerto Ricans say once the power comes back, life will get back to normal quicker. Eric Rosales, CBN News.
This month, Israel's government invited Christian journalists to Jerusalem. CBN's Chris Mitchell has details.
The Christian journalists were honored by Israel's prime minister, president, and political leaders.
Welcome back to Studio 5. Actors Jamie Foxx and Tommy Lee Jones star in the new film called The Burial. It's based on the life of famed attorney Willie Gary and one of his biggest cases. Mr. Gary honored Studio 5 with his personal take on his true story of faith, family, and friendship.
Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, how y'all doing?
When did you realize that your life story, if you will, contained a movie?
Well, this came about after we tried the low-end group case.
My name
is Willie Gary.
Willie Gary.
Willie Gary.
William Gary. Never heard of him. What's so special about this guy anyway?
Basically, it showed that, you know, when you're doing the right thing, when you're helping people, when you're fighting a good fight, more than not, you're going to come up winning in some form or fashion.
Mr. Gary hasn't lost a case in over 12 years.
You suggesting I hire this guy as one of my lawyers? Y'all come on in. Pleasure to meet you, Mr. Gary. Let me introduce you to my comrade.
How do you feel about working with black folk? I suppose I am a little prejudiced.
Did you meet my team?
I'm Chris.
Deshaun.
Reggie Douglas. Gentlemen.
Faith also seems to be a big part of your life. We see some beautiful scenes in the film, in church and so forth. How important is that to you?
You know, like in the low-end group case, seemed like we were losing, going downhill. I'll never forget it. I walked out of the courtroom and I found an empty room in the library.
Mm-hmm.
We were taking a beating. I mean, you wouldn't believe how the big high-powered law firms that the Lowen Group brought in. But I fell on my knees and said, Lord, you tell me what to say. I know our cause is just, and I know we're fighting a good fight and a decent fight and an honest fight. But I can't do it by myself. And I have the best of lawyers with me. But see, sometimes you got to take your burdens to the Lord.
Litigation is war. It's a battle. Bam! A battle to the death.
How did Jamie Foxx do playing you?
Jamie Foxx is the best in the world. He's the best in the world, and I got just so much respect for him. His attitude about success and about winning, you could see it in our movie. And he's a believer. You gotta be willing to work your fingers to the bone. That's Jamie Foxx.
We are a $500 million corporation. So how much money y'all trying to get? $8 million. That ain't enough money. $100 million.
Do you have a hope for the film? What do you hope it does when people get to see it?
Well, I'm just hoping that, I like to think it should win an Academy Award. I really do. Because Jamie Foxx did such a tremendously good job. I mean, it's unbelievable. But, I'm just, on the other hand, blessed that this movie will set the record in bringing people together, reaching out to do for a cause that will make a difference.
You're a fighter, man. What made you want to do it?
Because he tried to mess with the one thing that means the most to me in life, being able to leave something behind for my grandchildren.
Let's play some music.
And you got to be about more than money. You got to be about more than material things. Sometimes you got to flat out be about just making a difference, making life better for someone who's less fortunate than you are. That's what you got to do. We win cases because we're blessed. You got to have talent too, but at the end of the day, we are blessed. God is on our side. And I'm just prayerful.
Can't you see that we're golden?
We don't have a snowball's chance of winning this case.
Just trust me, okay? I may have found something.
And I just look at it that way. But for God blessing me, I wouldn't be in a position to win a case for anybody else. The man can do some things, but God can do all things.
What if I don't win and I let all these people down? Did it ever bother you?
Oh, the hypocrisy, the hypocrisy.
You sit there.
Objection, Your Honor.
The Burial is streaming right now on the Amazon Prime platform. Well, we need to take a quick break, but before we do, it is time to share this week's story in pictures. Here's your Studio 5 snapshot.
We honor and remember actor Richard Roundtree, who lost his battle with pancreatic cancer this week. Roundtree is possibly most famous for playing the leading role in the Shaft franchise back in the 1970s, and often called the first black action hero in Hollywood. Doctors diagnosed him with cancer 2 months ago. He died Monday at his home in Los Angeles with his family by his side. This photographic look at his long career is this week's Studio 5 snapshot. Still to come, Jose Hernandez's dream feels a million miles away until it becomes an up-close reality.
I told my dad, and my dad did something incredible. I mean, he had the wisdom to empower me to believe it, because he told me, I think you can do it. As a 10-year-old, I never looked back as I grew up. I just had perseverance.
We'll talk to the astronaut whose real-life story is now a feature film.
Hi, I'm Beth Parkinson, and welcome to the 700 Club. As a new mum, I am learning about the challenges of caring for my baby. But imagine you're a single mum raising 4 kids in Albania. Winter is coming and you live in a tent because an earthquake just destroyed your home.
I thought the building was gonna collapse and we were going to be buried in the ruins.
The plaster of the ceiling was coming down, and I couldn't see anything. The noise was like cracking bones. I was terrified.
On the day Operation Blessing came to her village, we provided Shahai and her children some help. First, we took them shopping and bought them new winter coats and boots. The pastor said they had never been shopping before.
I needed shoes for my kids because their feet get wet. I love that they now have shoes to wear and their feet are warm.
We also gave the family a box of food and other household supplies, along with a new propane heater and a hot plate for cooking. As you can see, the kids are already enjoying the heater as the winter approaches.
I want to thank everybody that helped us. It's not just the food and other things, it's the love I received from you. Thank you.
If you would like to know more about our humanitarian work, then please call the number on your screen or log on to cbneurope.com. Thank you.
Welcome back to Studio 5. We've got an out-of-this-world true story to share. Young Jose Hernandez was a migrant farm worker toiling in the fields of California alongside his Mexican parents and siblings. Well, that hard labor fueled some big dreams. Jose wanted to be an astronaut, and he refused to give up, even as NASA turned him down nearly a dozen times. His story? Well, it's now a movie.
Somehow, old faded photographs paint a clear picture of Jose Hernandez's journey from a child working in the fields of California in the 1960s and 70s to a field of dreams that launched him into space in 2009.
Booster ignition and liftoff of Discovery, celebrating its 25th birthday by racking up science and supplies.
Take me back to where it all began in terms of the idea that you, a kid on a farm, a migrant farm worker, could go to outer space.
The stars always attracted me. When I was a kid, Star Trek, the first run series was coming on, Captain Kirk. And then when we would go out in the fields, we would go away from the pollution of light of the city. And it was still dark, and man, you can see constellations up above. And
What are stars for? What are stars for? Well, that is one tough question, sir. You know what? I think you're going to be one of those people who can actually come up with an answer for that kind of question.
Hernandez's A Million Miles story is now a feature film.
when I was a 10-year-old, I see on the black and white TV the very last Apollo mission, Apollo 17, Gene Cernan walking on the moon. And man, that's when it hit me. I said, that's what I want to be. I want to be like that guy. I want to go to space. And I told my dad, and my dad did something incredible. I mean, he only has a third-grade education, but he had the wisdom to empower me to believe it, because he told me, I think you can do it. As a 10-year-old, I never looked back as I grew up. I just add perseverance because you guys know the story. I got rejected by NASA not once, not twice, but 11 times.
Hernandez, this is going to be your 11th attempt. And I appreciate your persistence, and I thank you for coming all the way down here, but I really wish you'd have saved yourself the airfare.
Sir, if I may, this is my strongest application yet, and this would be my 12th attempt, not my 11th.
So you get rejected 11 times. What makes you get up the 12th time?
Well, you know, you really want it, but the thing I always tell people is when you select something that you're going after, you know, make sure you enjoy the journey, because that's about 80-90% of your effort. And so I was enjoying the journey.
What's changed? What's different this time?
Over the course of the last 10 years, every academic, professional, and personal decision I've made with the space program in mind.
Sure.
I have my master's in electrical engineering. I'm a pilot now with over 800 hours under my belt. I have my scuba diving certificate. I just ran the San Francisco Marathon.
Wow.
And I speak Russian, sir.
So clearly you are not afraid of hard work. What role does faith play in moving you from the farm as a little boy to what you've accomplished today?
A lot. You know, we grew up going to church. A lot of people always argue with me and say, wait, isn't that kind of like a contradiction in life? You know, science and religion. And I said, no, quite the contrary. I said, you know, science explains you how things work. So religion, I said, explains why things happen. Not how things happen, why they happen. And so it fills you spiritually as to why things happen. And so I think they go hand in hand.
I've applied 12 times, and yes, sir, I've been on the verge of giving up after each and every rejection, but you know what, sir? Here I am. So you could turn me down again, but rest assured, I'll be standing here again in a year.
How does it feel to watch your story now play on screen for other people to see?
It's kind of like, it's surreal. It's kind of like an open book. It's almost like I opened my door to my house to the public, and they're all in here now watching me, you know. And it's good in the sense that I want people to see my story, to understand where I came from, such that they get empowered to say, hey, if he had it that bad and he was able to accomplish this, then why can't I accomplish my own goals?
You got children now of your own. Do you see yourself in them?
A lot. I got 5 kids.
Yes.
My oldest, 4 weeks ago, graduated from Purdue University in aerospace engineering, PhD. Nice. I told him, why Purdue? He said, did you know that Purdue graduates the most astronauts? So that's how he told me he wants to be an astronaut.
Nice.
And as Jose supports his son's space dreams, he's also back on the farm, working alongside his dad in the vineyard their family owns.
A Million Miles Away is streaming right now. You can find it on the Amazon Prime platform.
Woohoo! Hi, Superbook fans. Here's something else you'll love. It's the new Superbook Bible app. It's packed with games, activities, and Superbook episodes that you can watch for free. Oh, no! There's trivia, a fun daily devotional, and answers to your Bible questions. Plus, an easy-to-understand Bible the whole family will enjoy. You can even create your own Superbook character. Ta-da! Whoa!
Millsburg Falls man.
Sorry, pardon me. Sorry, excuse me. Ouch!
Are you getting this?
Earn super points to win daily prizes, too. And so much more! Time to get back to my adventures. See you soon. It's the new Superbook Bible app. Free downloads on iTunes, Google Play, and Amazon.
Well, welcome back to Studio 5. You know, music helps us to bring you this show every single week, and this week's soundtrack comes courtesy of Maverick City Music with Naomi Rain and Tasha Cobbs Leonard front and center. Take a listen and you will hear why In the Room is what's playing in my ear this week. Well, on that musical note, we are just about out of time for this week's edition of Studio 5, so this is a great time to take a look ahead and see what's coming up on next week's rundown.
I'm a substitute teacher.
Yeah, what's your name?
Well, my name's Mr. Drummond.
What you talking about?
Well, I'm gonna tell you what I'm gonna talk about. What's your name?
My name's Billy.
Yeah.
Like the goat.
Okay.
Bringing comedy to the Christian community for more than 20 years. Tommy Woodard and Eddie James, known as the Skit Guys, sit down with Studio 5 to discuss their longevity with their ministry, and they're recounting some of their favorite stories.
We did one of our first gigs, and it was in a garage in a youth minister's house with 12 kids. And, we arrived thinking we're going to do our skits, and, and then, the youth pastor's going, right in here. And we're like, in this garage?
Your garage. Be sure to join us for that story and so much more come next week. As for this week, we've got time for just one more thing. We want to give that to Lecrae. He has this week's final word.
What would you say if you could pull one lesson from the story of Jesus' birth? What lesson would you pull?
I think one lesson is that there was a lot of humanity. I think we take out the humanity of these people and what they were dealing with. The shame that Mary was carrying for, being assumed that she had gotten pregnant outside of marriage. The shame that Joseph would have felt, and it took Gabriel to say, don't do away with her now. These were people, and they were wrestling with things. And then Jesus wasn't born into this, he was born in the lowliest of circumstances. And so I think it should encourage us that he really did reach down to the lowest of lows to deal with our humanity, and that we matter.
Lecrae, thank you. That is a great final word for this edition of Studio 5 and for this week's look at uplifting entertainment. Until next time, I encourage you to make time to uplift someone around you, and then please come right back here and see where Studio 5 takes you next week. Thank you for watching. Bye-bye, everybody.
If you need prayer or would like to partner with CBN Europe, then please call 0300 561 0700 or visit our website cbneurope.com today.